Welcome back into Inside the Huddle, Week 2 edition. Kale Seed, Amarillo Globe News. Myself, Clint, Sports Director here at KMR Local 4 and Fox 14. A big Week 1, and can you believe Week 2, we're already stepping into rivalry week.
Yeah, no, two huge games, city games too. And usually these games are October, November, and it's September 7th on Friday, and we're talking Amarillo High Tascosa.
Yeah, and this is one that we've had district rivalries before now, earlier in the season, 6A and 5A. And Tascosa now, a little unusual because they've won 2 in a row, looking for 3 in a row. And right. I don't know the exact date, but it's been a while since they've won 3 in a row.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see if they can. Amarillo High has all of that momentum. 48 points last week against Friendship. Bo Barker throws for 300 yards, the first Amarillo High quarterback to do that since 2013. And Gabe Rodriguez. Tascosa didn't show us a lot last week against Abilene High, but a good Abilene High team.
Yeah, we talked a lot about Tascosa's offense coming in, right? Brandon White, King Doru, the Division I offers, and I know Brandon White plays defense as well, but still a lot of hype around that offense, and only mustered up 13 points. So it was their defense really that won the football game against Abilene.
And that's what Ken Plank wants to see. He wants to see his defense win in football games. Last year, they lost a football game. So to win football games, he'll take that all day, I promise you.
And then kind of a change in Amarillo High, as you mentioned, 48 points, give up 41. I don't know how many times we saw this high-powered offense like that under Maxfield. A little different look than we saw, and probably a defense that he's going to want to see a little bit more from against Tascosa.
And you saw Coach Dunham at the Golden Corral on Wednesday at the lunch, and he doesn't look good, man. He looks like he's about ready to throw up. This is his first day being a head coach in this game element. He looks a little nervous. I think he just wants to get this thing on the field. Coach Dunham, he just wants to get it going. Mr. Adrenaline.
A game he's been a part of, defensive coordinator for Tascosa, now stepping over on the other side for Amarillo High. Being a head coach, you mentioned, it looks a little different from his seat now.
A lot of pressure in this game. Let's get 15,000 people. It's a lot for a high school football game.
Yeah. What kind of game do you expect? Do you think it's going to be low scoring? I mean, we've seen that kind of game from the Rebels and the Sandies. Do you think that because of the offenses, we could see another shootout, 40, 50 points?
I don't. That's a great question, Clinton. It was a secondary for Amarillo High last week. Fortunately, they're not facing this kind of passing game. That's a tough running game. Tascosa's offensive line is dominant. King Doru is a different kind of back. Amarillo High is going to be able to throw it a little bit. Well, it just depends on the physical size. I'm seeing scoring. I'm not seeing too much scoring. Does that make sense?
No, it does.
20s, 30s.
20s, 30s. I like that. And Chad Dunham, a difficult task last week. They're throwing the ball 40 times. Now they may throw it 4 times. So, I mean, difficult task when you're going up against 2 totally different offenses. Not the only rivalry game this Friday night.
No, Canyon Randall right down the road. So, my goodness, so here we go. Another district game that could be, we one year, but now with Canyon dropping to 4A, here we go. Now, here's the question I have for you. Is Canyon legit?
They look like it against Palladuro. The offense really got going. I mean, they gave up the big play to Palladuro, and I think you're going to see that a lot with them. They got Jeremiah Patterson on the outside, and Dondre did great throwing it. They gave up some big plays. I think that they need to shore some things up on defense. But the offense, Lawton Reichel, to answer the question with him specifically, I think he's legit and has really lived up to his billing. Played very well in that first game.
Looked much improved. The offense looked slick. Seth Nickel had 3 touchdowns in the first half. I think they scored on 5 of their 6 first possessions of the game, and it was over at halftime. Now, Randall, another animal, another back. We're talking another D1 type back, Jay Sean Barrow.
And he was able to total over 150 yards in their loss on the road at Midland. And this is a game where, talking to Coach Selman, that they only had the ball 3 times in the second half. I don't know how often that happens. They just didn't get the stops on 3rd down that they wanted. Long, methodical drives by Midland, and only got the ball 3 times, but still over 150 yards for Jashawn Barrow. And he said he played well. And the defense obviously looked good. They just got to put points on the board when they have those opportunities.
That's the key. Jay Sean Barrow against that Canyon offense. Who's better?
And it'll be those big stops, in these rivalry games, Amarillo High Tascosa and Canyon Randall. It's going to come. It seems like it always comes down to a weird play on special teams or one of those big broken plays.
Always.
What other games you looking forward to this
week? We'll get a rare treat. The number 3 team in 3A is coming into town this week, Canadian, at River Road. Now, River Road, had a rough start to the season at Abernathy. Now you welcome a Canadian team in that's, looked like they're in mid-season form already last week with the 35-6 win. The McCook boys, Garrison and Grant McCook, I think totaled like 250 yards receiving last week.
And maybe scored all of their touchdowns?
All 5 touchdowns from Case and Cavaliers, so great start for them. It's always good to see a top 10 team in town. WT High and Stratford, another game looking forward to.
Yeah, and one that I kind of want to circle as well is because Dalhart's been down a little bit over the last couple of years. They get a big win to start the season, and we saw some improvements from them at the end of last year, and that carried over, it seemed like, against Muleshoe. Big win against them. Now they get a test.
And you're looking forward to that quarterback. Player to watch there, Brian Bordenmeyer.
Yeah, and you know, it totaled over 200 yards in that win against Muleshoe. Now they welcome in Bushland, who had a shootout with Childress. And that was a fun one that you got to see a part of as well.
Didn't disappoint at all. 41-37. Luke Latimer, 420 yards of offense. Another kid I want to see this weekend, Braden Durst. He touched the ball he ran 142 plays, touched the ball 50 times against Toya.
Hey, and I got to ask you, because you had a great write-up in the paper about McLean. They got a big win.
Number one team in the state, buddy. Beat Strawn. Nobody saw that coming. Ben Crockett's the real deal. Best back in 1A.
Very cool. There's a lot to look forward to this week.